Hello there YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa the PFJ. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning. It's a beautiful, glorious, very hot day here in Saudi Arabia, so that's pretty normal, so enough of that for now. You've got to love it when the chickens come home to roost, don't you? And that's the theme of what I'm going to talk about when I talk to you about the performance of the latest movie that's been released, Lightyear, from a spin-off movie from the Toy Story franchise. And it's very much a case of a how it started, how it's going kind of story. So let's get into it, shall we? So this movie was released, I believe it was last week, to not very much fanfare. Point of fact, it got beaten in the box office in America by in the second week of the release of the Jurassic World Dominion movie, which had come out the week before, and has performed pretty well, even though the reviews of it have been pretty poor. I've heard nothing but woeful reviews of it from everyone who's seen it. However, it's done very well, and a little bit of sweet irony involved, which will become more obvious when I tell you later on in this video. So Lightyear had a few things surrounding it prior to its release, most prominent of which was the very well publicised inclusion of a same-sex kiss with one of the main characters from the movie. I believe she's the side character to Lightyear. She's something of a sidekick to him in the movie. I haven't seen it, no real intentions of watching after everything I've heard, but and it's not to do with what I've just said before anyone tries to clip it and make me sound like I'm a homophobe, because I'm not, so take that to fuck wherever you want. That was generated a lot of chatter online, but what it led to most specifically was in an interview prior to the release of the movie, Chris Evans, who voices Buzz Lightyear in the movie, was asked about the chatter around the same-sex kiss, and his answer was the people who are against it are idiots. Essentially, no lead up to it. He just called them idiots. It's like, way to go, Chris. Way to bloody well alienate half the people who might want to take their kids to see this bloody movie. Irony, calling you an idiot, right? But so I should state, for the record, I have been something of a fan of Chris Evans' work. I quite liked how his portrayal of Captain America throughout the MCU. I thought it was very good. I thought it was a very good choice for that role. I've seen him in a handful of other things. I'm showing my age here when I tell you that one of the first films I remember seeing him in was a parody movie that came out in the early 2000s called Not Another Teen Movie, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It makes fun of a lot of the spate of teen movies that were coming out around that time, so the likes of American Pie and all those types of movies, and the sort of classic twist remake films that were out at the time, like She's All That and 10 Things I Hate About You and all those sorts of things. And it was a very funny movie, and he was very good in it. But it's become abundantly clear over the past few years that his political leanings kind of influence his choices of what he says in public, and yeah, he doesn't come off well with a lot of people, and including myself, because it's like I'd say I try to stay out of the political side of things. I think with a lot of the opinions I have these days, a lot of people would call me a conservative, which is probably fair to a point. I probably have a few more conservative leanings than I've had in the past. I still have a few more liberal leanings in some of the things I believe, but for the most part I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, I'd say. But enough of that for now. The point remains that when you say certain things online, especially if you're a public figure like Chris Evans is, you've got to realise that some people are going to take what you say personally. If you're, for instance, I know he's very anti-Trump. If you're a Trump voter and you've been a fan of Chris Evans in the past and you hear some of the things he has to say about you, it's like, well, fuck you, I'm not going to watch your stuff anymore. But that doesn't seem to translate into their heads for some reason. So, yeah, he said this thing about them being idiots, and then proceeded to say that, that America is a country that's been founded on social progress and stuff, which, I mean, kind of, but it's not really the fundamentals of how the country goes. There are values that have remained since America was founded, and like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So like that's always been something that's been important to the American fabric. So I mean, some things have changed, like the Civil Rights Act, etc., which was a great step forward for the country as a whole. But for the most part, they've kind of remained, from a constitutional level, they've remained kind of level. So that statement in itself was a bit basic, and then what he's capped it off with is to say that the people who hold these views, who don't like this inclusion of this same-sex kiss, will die out like dinosaurs. That's the sweet irony part, because which movie beat it out in the box office? Jurassic World Dominion. What's in Jurassic World Dominion? Dinosaurs! Sweet karma come to bite Mr. Evans in the backside. It's really quite nice to see. Now, I'll go on to say as well that that I don't think was the biggest problem that people had with the release of this movie. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, the other funny part of that is that it's quite relevant to the part of the world I live in, the Middle East, if you've not heard me mention it in previous videos. The movie is not out here for that reason. As has happened with other movies prior to this, the movie will get sent to countries like this one and ones around here in this vicinity. They'll they'll watch it, they'll see the parts that they don't want in, they'll ask to have them cut out, and if the country if the distributors, makers of the movie agree to it, the movie will get released. If they don't, the movie won't get released. As is what's happened with this one. The Saudi Arabians and other countries in this area too saw this movie, wanted this cut out of it. Disney said no, Pixar said no, it's Pixar's movie, and it didn't get released. So for the same reason, there was the Doctor Strange movie that was released recently as well, was not distributed because they had an LGBTQ representative character in there in the form of America Chavez. So that for that reason, because the Disney Marvel refused to edit it out, it never got released here. So, which I'm not that disappointed about, because I hear it was pretty pants. So that's probably for the best. Anyway, so that as an aside, that I had to mention that. But from my understanding and from a personal standpoint too, this movie, as I've just mentioned, had Chris Evans doing the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Now, if you're familiar with the Toy Story franchise, which I think most people are by this point, Buzz Lightyear is a beloved character. He's very, very popular and has been from the very beginning. So you're talking a good, 1995 when the original was released, which, boy, that makes me feel ancient. So it's a 27-year-old, nearly 30-year-old character. Now, and I had a conversation with someone just the other night about this as well, and they made the excellent point that it's just like if it'd be the same as if, like, when they recast the role to Chris Evans and no longer had Tim Allen doing the voice, which everybody knows and recognises. It's an iconic character. You hear him speak, you hear that to infinity and beyond. It's instantly recognisable. And as my friend pointed out the other night there, he said that it would be like if you made a movie about Woody and no longer had Tom Hanks voicing him. It wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, and there are people who have speculated, and they're probably right at this point, because current year, Tim Allen is not a liberal person. I don't think he's particularly overly right wing either. I think he's pretty centre conservative, probably a bit more like myself, but he's certainly more on the conservative side, and he's voices opinions that reflect that more than once. So a lot of people have speculated that may be the reason, or one of the reasons, why he was no longer considered to voice Buzz Lightyear. Which, yeah, it's a piss poor basic bitch reason to do it, and it's a surefire way to make sure a bunch of people won't see your film, because, like I said, he's recognisable to everyone as Buzz Lightyear. And it's also from like my standpoint, and others like me who saw this movie when they were a child. So I said 1995 when this came out. I wasn't even a teenager when this movie came out. I was just pre-teen when this movie came out. So people like me and others have grown up and had kids of our own. So they're alienating a bunch of people who may have wanted to take their kid to see this film, and now don't want to, and as has been absolutely made clear in the resulting box office numbers. So there you have it. It's a classic case of, like I said, how it started, how it's going, and very much a case of get woke, go broke. So I think I'll leave it there. That was a nice short video I wanted to make, and I had it in my head, so I thought I'll come and talk to you lovely people about it. So thank you for watching. If you liked, please give it a thumbs up. Consider watching some of my other videos. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel if you would be so kind. If you would like to share it and show it to your friends, because I'm sure there are a lot of other people who feel this way, or maybe there's some who aren't, who took their kids to see the movie and really enjoyed it. So I mean, I'd like to hear that side as well, if there is anyone who feels that way. And also just keep watching my videos in the future, and I'll see you on the next one, and take care everyone. See you later. Bye bye.